Fresno played so hard. They did a great job. It was an incredible game for fans to watch. Thought we did a really good job turning them over. I thought, defensively, the turnovers were a big part of the game, and our ability to create steals, we did some things defensively that we did in the past, but haven't done too much this year, which is kind of what we call hit in the backcourt or soft shadow, and I thought that really helped us. Obviously, Taylor played phenomenal basketball, and they did a great job shooting the three ball. But I just talked to the team about, Thurman. We've lost 2 games now this year. In both games, I pulled Thurman out of the starting lineup, and he's responded. And I did not walk into the building thinking that I was going to play Trey 34 minutes tonight, and that he was going to get a double-double and lead us in assists, lead us in rebounds, and be the third leading scorer. So I thought he was phenomenal. I thought his shot selection was great. He did a great job drawing free throws attempted, as did Caleb. And I thought we were really aggressive going to the rim, even though I thought the three ball, we were very selective tonight, much more selective than we have been. We weren't just jacking up threes. We made a conscious effort to try to get to the rim and get to the basket.
Questions for Coach?
What do you think Trey's responded well to getting pulled out of the starting lineup? I mean, obviously you don't win tonight without it.
Yeah, and I think he's just a guy that puts winning above all else. And his dunk was sealed the game, and he's just a winner. That's kind of what he is. He practices hard every day. He talks. He tries to do the right thing. And you're right, Chris. We don't win the game tonight without Trey having a really, really good game. It's just like this stuff is really, really hard. To be 25-2 is, everyone starts writing and talking about it's hard to win a game every night. We got some banged up bodies for sure. The last couple games, we got a tired group right now. And so we got to try to manage that and get them through with some of these injuries. There'll be some guys that won't practice Monday and Tuesday, and we'll do all we can to try to get them rehabbed and get them ready to play.
Seems like as physical a game as you guys have played during your tenure here. I mean, how desperate do you feel like both of these teams were to get a win and get back in the win column after losing their last game? Yeah, I mean, we're certainly, our winning percentage after a loss is really good. I mean, we have physical practices when behind closed doors. Today's the first day that I've ever had a closed practice. The TV crew didn't come in. I didn't allow. It's the first time I've ever done that in my career. But I didn't want any distractions whatsoever. Even staff, I didn't want anybody that works in the. I didn't want anybody in the building today. A couple came in and shouldn't have, but I mean, we needed to be extremely focused, and we knew they were going to come out and play great. I mean, every time we play Fresno, they got guys like Taylor and that are so tough, and Grimes is a guy that plays really physical and does a great job inside, and so we expected this type of game. I mean, we expected 2 teams to be fighting. Obviously there's still a lot of conference play to go.
Can you talk about that 8-0 run? They grabbed a 2-point lead, 4.5 left, and you guys really answered. Can you talk about how you guys answered at that moment? And
yeah, I mean, I think we had a pretty intense huddle, and the guys were trying to figure out ways that we could score, and we ran some plays after timeouts that we've never run before. A lot of wrinkles. Scored some, didn't score some. But the basket cut by Thurman on our elbow action was, he made a great read.
Is taking Trey out of the starting line, is that to motivate him to play better or to get him fired up because he'll respond, or is it to get a different starting spot?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel as a coach, I didn't want to roll the same group out. I've done it a lot, Joe, I guess. It's really not any one guy in particular. I thought Jazz
has done a great job for us all year. Wanted to reward him. That was his first start. It doesn't mean we won't change going into UNLV. We did feel like Fresno is a team that plays a lot of perimeters, a lot of guards. And so from a matchup standpoint, I mean, this is also the team that I started Corey Henson as a guard last time. So we looked at that tape and thought, like, to have 3 guards, whether it was Corey or Jazz tonight, we felt like that gave us an advantage as well, or a better chance to win the game.
What does the game do for you down the road as far as to have to grind a game out, even at home, where it hasn't been this tough?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, Fresno's had a really good year. I mean, they had a good non-conference. They played really well, and coming into the game, 10-4. They're a good, really good basketball team, and every night's hard. I mean, I thought Boise had the game won tonight. I watched it before I came, and Utah State made a couple big plays, and they win the game in overtime. And every night's a grind in this league. It's just the way we travel. It's I mean, you could take all the top 25 teams, and, like, surprisingly, I had a guy at my health club today ask if the travel to and from Wyoming had an effect on us, going to San Diego State, and we don't, coming back from San Diego State, we didn't get here till 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, I don't think LSU's getting back at 1:30 in the afternoon after a game, because we had to have a practice, and our practice slot's 2 o'clock, and we landed at 1. That's not easy, and so I'm sure Buffalo's dealing with the same thing. It's really hard to go through the obstacles that you have to go through as a mid-major and play at this pace. And to be honest with you, that's why I think that there's mid-majors that it's hard for them to have records like some other teams. I'm tired, and we are tired,
Are you surprised? I mean, your rotation is basically like 6 guys, maybe 6.5. Going into the season, that wasn't the thought. Are you surprised this is where you are, and that maybe you are putting extra stress on your main guys because you have to?
No, I mean, I'm not saying that we have extra stress on them. I just think that I don't think it would matter if I played if Caleb twists his ankle. I don't think it's because he played 40 minutes or if he played 32. I think obviously the chances of it go up when he plays, but I just think it's more of a mental fatigue besides there's been a lot of pressure on us the whole year. And I think it kind of caught up to us mentally as far as being drained. Like yesterday was our worst practice of the year. Not that they didn't want to practice, they just drained. And so now we got to try to infuse a little more enthusiasm some way, shape, or form.
So I guess you have to be pretty pleased to see them rebound from the worst practice of the year.
Yeah, I thought today they had a great shoot-around. I mean, we tried to take Cody off the floor in practice, and he just won't come off. I mean, he got a pretty bad bone bruise against San Diego State and struggled to get loose the last 2 days of practice. And Caleb's still got some issues that he's dealing with, and obviously Jazz's shoulder's kind of been a chronic thing. But I'm sure that, if you ask Fresno, they're probably a little drained too. It's just that time of year. And we've always finished strong. We hope that we can do it again this year, but only time will tell.
Coach, we touched upon Jazz a couple times, but how nice is it to get 40 minutes out of a guy whose role has been the spark plug off the bench, and he can handle this role too? It must be a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we knew that, again, because they play so small and they play a lot of perimeters, we knew that we were going to have another guard, and I think your rotations and stuff are kind of determined off how you produce, to be honest. And I didn't know we were going to play Trey Porter 7 minutes, but he had 3 fouls in 7 minutes, and so you got to make a decision whether a guy plays 40 or a guy plays 7. There's decisions that go into every game.
Why was Taylor such an issue tonight?
I thought last year he hurt us too. He's a really quick guard, and we got 2 tall guards, and he had 30, and I think his average is like 17. and then you add in the fact that Huggins didn't play that much and didn't score double. So I think that, Deshaun got a lot of Braxton Huggins shots tonight and a lot of his points as well. But we did, there were some good things too, because he had 5 turnovers, and I thought at least 4 of them were live ball turnovers, which live ball turnovers for us usually mean it's going to the other end. And the difference of the game was a plus 10 in points off turnovers.
That win, especially as physical as it was throughout the game.
Oh, it's a big win. Anytime you can win, at home, like Coach said, we have guys coming in and they're playing their best basketball right now down the stretch. Guys, everybody's wanting to make it out of their conference. One bid league conferences to try to make it to the NCAA tournament, stuff like that. So guys in the top, 4 or whatever it is, they're going to play really hard. And they're a talented team. They hit shots and, they got it going a little bit. But anytime we can, get a win, regardless of how it is, I guess we'll take it.
How's your body feel?
I feel old right now. But I'm good. I'm just a little banged up. Nothing, a cold tub can't get me right. Cold tub and some fat legs. I'll be all right.
That seemed like a super physical game. I mean, how would you describe the desperation both these teams were playing with, both coming off losses?
Yeah, you could tell everybody wanted it. You could tell they really wanted it, and coming into an environment like this, and with it really packed, and you could tell that they were trying to play their best basketball. So, that's what they were doing, and that's why it was so tough for us to try to get stops, because they just stayed kind of in a rhythm. Luckily one of their better scorers was out. Huggins was out, so that helped us a lot with that. But also we're not getting calls. They're not, stuff like that. I usually don't complain about the rest, but you can kind of tell guys were looking the other way, because whether it was them getting annoyed by coach or by us or whatever it was, you could, they're just kind of turn their head the other way. But it is what it is. We don't really need them to win the game, so we got to do what we got to do regardless. So we don't even put them in that position to dictate the game. So.
Any more questions for Caleb?
Taylor, had a good game. I guess what was the biggest issue trying to stop him?
Just we started soft blitzing a little bit, soft trapping. Just because he hit his first couple of shots and he got it going, and he's a tough cover because he's one of those guys who knows how to draw fouls, and he flops, and he's a little bit he's a little guard compared to our guard, so they're gonna give him the call. So it's one of those things that our bigs and our guards want to get up on him, but don't want to give him easy fouls, and then you want to back up a little bit, but he's streaky, so whenever he's hitting, it's tough because he'll pull from half court. So we were just trying to switch up a little bit, soft blitz here and there, and then just regular switch, and then sometimes we were telling Cody to get over the screen and to try to stay, but it was tough though because he was hitting, so we switched up a little bit, and obviously it didn't work exactly how we wanted it, but whatever, we got the W.
Tre'Shawn coming off the bench, how important was he to this win?
He's big, like Coach said, he could have been complaining and pouting and stuff because he was coming. Coach decided to bring him off the bench and stuff. But it's one of the guys who's gonna figure out a way to stay on the court, to get back on the court, as y'all can see. If you had a bad game, he has a really good bounce back, and it's a lot of it. At this point right now, it's just mental. That's literally all it is mental now. It's just telling yourself you're gonna do whatever you need to do to get back on the court, and not necessarily. And that doesn't even mean scoring. He had 10 rebounds and. The points just come with it because he's so active. So every time he gets around the rim, we're telling him to shoot it, stop being so unselfish, try and give it up. That's where you get your turnovers and stuff. You might as well go up. You're within 4 to 6 feet of the rim. You might as well make a play. And so that's what he did tonight. He came up with big rebounds and hit big free throws for us down the stretch too to get the momentum back. And it's just the ultimate glue guy today.
Coach said the team is mentally drained at this stage. Do you feel like you guys are, you're having to fight through some things just physically and mentally?
Yeah, for everybody right now, it's the stretch where you see the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of. You don't have that many games left in conference, and then also you're at the end of our conference. At the end of our regular season right now, we're looking at a team that beat us, last game. So we're looking towards that, but it's one of those things you can't look ahead too much. You got to take each game at a time because guys are going to come in playing like this, And the one time that you try to skip a game, or you're mentally not prepared for the one that for the one you're about to play, and then that's when you get popped in the mouth and you end up with another loss. So we're trying to take it a game at a time, and just trying to handle our business, for each game, each night.
The cupping, I don't know if you've addressed that. Is that something that you've done a lot in the past, or?
Nah, no, not too much. I got a massage because I was feeling beat up. So I got some cupping and stuff done. It's really bad on my back, but yeah, it was worse against San Diego State. It looked bad. It looked like I got beat up, like hit with a baseball or something. Bad. Yeah. It works. It feels good. Like, I had because there's a lot of tightness in my shoulders and like near my elbows and stuff like that too. But I got the bad toxic stuff out, so I'm feeling all right now.
Thanks, Caleb.
All right, thank you.
It was real big because, kind of like Caleb said, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you understand that some teams are playing to try to get back in the race to finish in number one in the Mountain West, and some teams are playing just to try to mess up teams who are trying to get back in the Mountain West or trying to be the winner of the Mountain West. So everyone's going to play hard down these last 4 or 5 games just because someone's playing for something. You got to find some sort of motivation. So you got the top 4 teams fighting for first place, and you got the bottom 4 teams fighting to mess up those guys. So this is a really big win for us.
About 45 seconds left. You get the ball down. You guys are up 3. Just describe that play where you went in and dunked it.
I don't know. I thought about passing it out just to run some clock out. I saw Jazz. I think it was Jazz. Was it you? Was it you? All right. Well, somebody drove and freed me up, and I was like, when I pump faked, I saw there was a lot of openings, so I just took it and went with it. And I told JB before the game that me and him when we go to the rim, we have to have a weird dunking everything mentality. So I tried to have that this game.
Is that one of the best plays of your career?
I have a lot of plays, so that's probably up there. That's probably up there. It's probably top 5. I don't know if it's number 1. It's probably top 5.
That kind of sealed it. I mean, did you feel like that one kind of took their soul out? They were in it for the first 39 minutes.
I mean, it was a great play. Energy was crazy in the building, but they were still kind of in the game. They still had a couple plays. Taylor was on it, so you can never just say like, that's the nail in the coffin. But it was a great play, and I went with it. So it was fun.
When your coach told you were coming off the bench, and it seems like you've reacted pretty well to it the only 2 times he's done it.
He told me after the San Diego State game, the next practice, and what was the other question?
Why do you think you responded so well?
So we had a speaker come in yesterday, and he talked to us about how we have 4 hours minimum left on the basketball court, and you don't want to look back. Like it's getting to the point where you don't want to look back on it and say like, man, I was pissed that last game, or I didn't have it that game because of this, or whatever, mentally wise. Like. Before this last game, we had 4 hours left to play minimum on the basketball court, and I don't want to look back from here on out and think like I didn't have it mentally. Like I want to 20 years from now, I want to look back on it and say, man, I had a blast playing with these guys, and I love these guys. So.
Why do you think Coach sat you today?
I didn't have the best game against San Diego State, and I don't blame him for that. I mean, I gotta play better, and hopefully. I just keep getting better and better throughout the season, and we're getting to a stretch where it's almost want to go home. So, and I'm just trying to help this team, So whatever, if I played 5 minutes, I was going to go try out there and play 5 minutes as hard as I can, get a turnover, get a steal, and get a rebound, get a block or something. And that's probably, I didn't play good last game, and he had every right to bring me off the bench. And we have a lot of good guys on this team, so it doesn't matter if he brings you off the bench or not. I think he had like 15 different starting lineups last year. Like. We have a lot of good guys. It doesn't matter who starts. It matters if you bring it when you get in.
It was a pretty physical game. I don't think the crowd was super happy with the officiating. I mean, how was it out there on the floor, just from a physicality standpoint?
It was definitely a crazy game. I think I think we got in the bonus with like 14 minutes left in the second half or something like that, which is like crazy. So, guys are fighting, guys are pushing, guys are clawing, guys want to. That team wanted to win. Those guys are killers. Taylor's a killer. Huggins is a killer. Grimes he's a football player. Like these guys they're tough. So like Yeah, it was definitely a tough game. And the refs I think they kind of let us play, and the refs did a pretty good job, I thought. So it was just tough, and we got to play. We got to be ready to be in environments like that because you never know when you're not going to get calls. And it could be in the biggest game of your life when you're not get calls. You can't. What are you going to do? You got to play through it.
Seems like the last couple games have been like that from a physicality standpoint. Is that just like you said? People know there are only a few games left. There's desperation because seedings are on the line or winning championships are on the line.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the reason why, and I think the officials understand that too, and they want to let guys play, and they want to understand that we don't want to be the reason the team loses or wins, and they're trying to stay out of it, and I think they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, it's hard for them. Those guys have a very tough job. They got to deal with Coach Muss more than we do. So, so guys are just doing every little thing. I think we had a play where Cody was ripped somebody, and I don't remember, I was on the ground, but I think 6 guys ended up on the ground trying to get that ball. It's every play matters. Every single play matters, and you saw it tonight from both teams.
Is there a point where you felt things clicking? I mean, your numbers are phenomenal. Coming off the bench is a weird situation for you, but was there a point where you're like, I'm in the flow, this is clicking, or how does that work?
I don't know. I forgot who it was. I think it was Caleb or Cody who got me that dunk when I got in. And, right after that dunk, I felt like, all right, here we go. Like, when you come off the bench, you got to kind of get a feel. You're watching, you're understanding what's going on early on. But then when I got that dunk, I was ready to play. I mean, I was ready to play already, but like getting that dunk just puts you in the middle of everything that's going on. So right after that, I was ready to go. I understood what was going on, and I think Grimes had freaking hit me with a bow in the chest right before that too. So I was really ready before that. But I think that's what set it off for me.
Teams are trying to, be physical with you guys, to stop you. It seems like San Diego State was, New Mexico was mouthy, more physical problem. Is that kind of what teams are trying to do to you guys, just be physical and out battle you?
I think we're understanding, and Caleb had a great team talk 2 days ago just about how teams are playing us like we're soft, and we got to react to that. Teams are coming here and trying to push us around and think they can, and they think we can handle it. And I think we, besides the San Diego State game, we fought the San Diego State game. The San Diego State game was hard, and I think we still fought, but I think we responded every time. The New Mexico game the second time, and now this game tonight, we understood that this team was going to come in and play this crazy hard, and I think we were ready to go, and we understood what was at stake. And so I think teams are definitely trying that, and I think we're ready for that, though. And I think Coach Eck is doing a great job of keeping us ready for that, too.
That talk with Caleb, was that kind of like a players-only meeting type deal?
No, he just had something to say before, right after, or somewhere in the middle or after practice, last practice, and we kind of just brought it in and understood, like, we're together, guys. And I don't know how many guys are on the coach staff and as players together, but it's us against everybody else. And we got to 100% be for each other. And so if you see something going on where a guy's, being extra physical with somebody, you got to have his back. You got to go double box out. You got to do something because the guys are trying to think they can just run through us, and we're not letting that happen no more. I think that's our biggest mentality going into the end of the season.
I think you kind of showed that in this game because this was, a game where Fresno was trying to get rough with you guys.
Yeah, I think we showed it in this game big time. Like I said, that play where 4 or 5 of us hit the ground. I think that happened like 2 or 3 times, and I think in Fresno they showed it too. They showed it, and that's a team that's going to be tough to play in the Mountain West tournament. So anybody who has Fresno State left, I don't know who they're playing up next, but they understand that Fresno State's coming to play tough too. So, but I think we definitely showed it the last couple of games.
It was Caleb just now who referred to you as a glue guy. Is that a fair assessment, and do you see yourself that way for this team?
Yeah, we have a lot of great talent, and I try to do everything I can just to keep everybody happy and make the right play. And that's what I think I do. I think I do a pretty good job of just understanding what's going on during the game. If someone's doing this, I got to do that. Like, I don't know. I think I'm a pretty good glue guy. I think I'm a glue guy. I don't want to say I'm a pretty good glue guy. I think I'm a glue guy, and I think I do a pretty good job at it. I ain't gonna lie.
The team's only lost 2 games, and both times he took you out of the starting line. Was there a time in your career where you might not have reacted as well to it as you have this year? Like, you haven't let it bother you, you've gone out and played as hard?
I don't think so. I've always been about the team, and I've always been about winning first. Like, of course, like when you say it like that, it sounds like it's tough. It's tough, but when you see what keeps me going is the bigger picture. Like, I want to win, and whatever. Coach Muss has seen way more basketball games than I have. He's coached way more basketball games than I have. And he's probably played in more basketball games than I have, but. I want to win, and so if he makes an adjustment, like I have to live with it. He's not gonna put me back in the starting lineup because I come in here crying about it. Like, So I have to just, I'm gonna play, and I'm gonna have to go with whatever coach's decision he has. So it's tough. It's definitely tough, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I want to win.
Thanks, Tre'Shawn.
How would you describe tonight's game?
It was rough. It was, your typical basketball game when you come down the stretch. Everybody, like Trey and Caleb said, everybody's playing hard. Everybody's playing, for seeding. Before this game, we only had a half-game lead, I think, over Utah State and a one-game lead over Fresno. So, they were fighting just as hard as we were for us to keep our standing, and they were trying to move up in the standing. So, everybody's playing hard, and they're trying to play for those seedings at the end of the day for that tournament.
When you find out about starting, and can you tell us your reaction when you found out for sure?
Honestly, I'll say I want to thank Coach Musselman for starting me, but I've came off the bench and I've kind of played starter minutes, so it wasn't really much different. I would say it was just he wanted to make a change, and I happened to be the guy that he made the change for. So I had to play the same way and keep my mind the same way and stay even keeled and play my game.
Any anticipation of playing all 40 minutes, or is that just something that developed?
Honestly, I said this to Trey Porter yesterday, actually. I didn't know if I was going to come out, because normally when he puts me in, I don't come out unless I'm obviously playing terrible. But he put me in at the beginning of the game, and I didn't come out. So, I guess you can say I didn't expect it, but in the back of my mind, I just kind of knew, just kind of based on how he subs.
But get him to let you play 40 minutes. Is it you have to play both ends of the floor? I know Cody and Caleb pretty much play that much, but what keeps you in a game with Coach Russ?
Defensively, it's just because I know my role defensively is most of the time I guard the point guard, so I'm picking up full court. So, that's really the biggest thing for me, is to be locked in defensively, and, offense will kind of take care of itself with the flow of the game. It's really just trying to help in any way I can while I'm on the floor.
You didn't take really any more shots than you normally do, even though you were on the floor the whole game. You surprised you only took 5 shots or 5 threes?
It's really just about, getting quality looks. If I feel like I wasn't open on a particular catch, or if I got the ball in a situation where I feel like I couldn't have done anything with it, I'm just going to move the ball. It's really just about, playing good basketball and making the right play.
Early on, it looked like this might be some sort of three-point war. So both teams were hitting pretty well. From your perspective, were you into that? Were you thinking, bring it on, we can match that?
Nah, not at all. It was really, we just had to withstand their barrage of threes. At some point, we knew that it was going to calm down, because most teams don't keep that up for an entire game. And it just so happened that, our quality looks were at the three-point line as well. So, and it just so happened, that both teams were hitting. And, obviously we got away from it a little bit too. So we started driving to the basket a little bit more. They did the same. And, it's just kind of the ebb and flow of the game, honestly.
Coach said you guys are a little banged up right now. How's your shoulder doing at the moment?
Shoulder's doing fine. One of the last plays, I kind of got it pulled a little bit, but it's a continuous process. I've dealt with this for a long time, so it's nothing really different. You said what?
How long have you dealt with it?
Since my freshman year, so basically my entire college career. So, I know what I have to do for treatment, and, I'm just going to continue to do it, continue to ice, and do what I need to do in order to maintain and stay as healthy as I can.
Coach said you guys are mentally exhausted. Do you feel that way?
I wouldn't say that. I think it's a weird situation, considering that, we're at the home stretch, and, there's the tournament talks and all this stuff, and, sometimes guys can kind of look at that and, look forward. But, I think the biggest thing is that we have to stay focused on each game, especially with this stretch we got coming up. We have some really hard games coming up, and we have to stay focused and take it one game at a time.
Tre'Shawn kind of talked about how maybe some teams think you guys are softer. I guess Are you still trying to prove a point to opponents how tough and physical this team can be?
I think we should have that mentality of that we have to prove a point. Like he said, teams are trying to come at us a lot harder, and refs are letting us play more because it is the end of the season, and it's that time to grind. So it's really just about prove that we have to prove ourselves each and every night, and prove our ranking, prove where we're at, and just know that it's not going to be easy for us. And like my dad always continues to tell me, that we have to play not expecting any fouls. So if we can continue to do that, I think we'll be successful.
Why do you think teams think they can out-physically? Because you guys have always responded and you guys fight as much as anybody in the league. Is it because you're kind of a jump shooting team, or why do you think they can?
I think it's really because it's mostly because of our success. With most teams with high rankings, and with all the media coverage and all that, a lot of these so-called underdog teams, they come out with a chip on their shoulder. And it's important for us that we come up with that chip on our shoulder and understand that we're still underdogs too, and at the on the national level, there's still a lot of questions about us, and we have to understand that we have to prove ourselves each and every night and continue to play hard.
That last dunk by Tre'Shawn, I mean, do you feel like that was kind of the dagger in them, and kind of put them away finally?
Yeah, and actually I was the guy to drive and kick it to him, but. Yeah, I think that was the dagger into it, and it really took a lot of air out of their team. You could really see it on their body language. As soon as he dunked it, they just started walking around. They didn't know what to do. So at that point, it was really up to us to just stay smart, stay solid, and do whatever we needed to do to finish the game out.
Any more questions for Jazz? Thank you.